Introduction. Some days look normal, but they are not. This was the day I found a secret that changed everything in my life. Story. I woke up early that morning. The sun was soft and warm. Light came through the small window in my room. Birds sang outside and the air smelled fresh. Everything looked normal, but I felt a small worry in my chest. Something told me today would be different. I lived in a small old house with my mother. The walls were brown and a little cracked. The floor was wooden and made a soft sound when we walked. The house was simple, but it was clean and safe. My mother worked very hard to make it our home. She cooked, cleaned, and took care of me. Sometimes I wanted to help her more, but I was just a child. My father was not in our life. He left when I was very young. I did not remember his face or voice. I often asked my mother about him, but she always said the same thing. He is not here. I never knew why. I never knew the real story. For many years I only had questions. That morning I walked into the kitchen. The air smelled of bread and tea. My mother was standing near the stove. She was stirring the tea slowly. Her eyes looked far away. She did not see me at first. I could feel that something was wrong. She always smiled when I came to the kitchen, but that morning her smile was weak and quiet. "Good morning, Mama," I said. "Good morning, my child," she replied softly. We sat together at the small wooden table. She poured tea into my cup. I took a small sip. The tea was warm. It tasted normal. But the house felt heavy. There was silence. I wanted to ask her something, but I did not know how. She looked at the clock again and again. Her hand shook slightly as she held the cup. After breakfast, my mother put on her coat. She picked up her bag. She told me she would come home late. I watched her near the door. She stopped and looked at me for a long moment. I felt she wanted to say something important, but she did not. She took a deep breath and left. The door closed quietly, and the house was still. I sat in the living room for a long time. The silence felt loud. I felt lonely but also curious. I wanted to do something to keep my mind busy. I decided to clean my room. I moved the chair, wiped the table, and dusted the shelf. Then I noticed something under my bed. A small wooden box covered with dust. I had never seen it before. My heart started to beat faster. I pulled the box out slowly. I felt nervous. My hands shook. I sat on the floor and looked at it. It was old. The wood was dark and smooth. I opened it carefully. Inside there were letters, old papers, and photographs. My eyes grew wide. I had never seen these things before. I felt like I had found a treasure. But it was not a happy treasure. It was a secret. I picked up the photographs first. One photo showed my mother when she was young. She was smiling brightly, her eyes full of joy. Next to her stood a man. He was tall and had kind eyes. I felt a strange feeling in my chest. I knew him. I did not know how, but I knew. He was my father. I held the photo close. My fingers shook. I felt happiness and sadness together. I had always wondered about my father. I had always wanted to know why he left. Now I had a small piece of the answer. But I also felt pain. Seeing him in that photo made me feel the years I had lost. Under the photographs were letters tied with a thin string. The paper was yellow and old. Picked one up. The writing was neat. I opened it carefully. My eyes moved slowly over the words. My heart beat faster with every line. The letter was from my father to my mother. He wrote about love. He wrote about fear. He wrote about pain. He wrote that leaving was the hardest choice of his life. He did not leave because he did not care. He left because he wanted to protect us. He was sick. He did not want my mother and me to suffer. He believed leaving would make our life better. Tears filled my eyes. I read more letters. Each one told a story. A story of love, hope, and heartbreak. He loved my mother deeply. He loved me deeply. But life had taken a hard turn. I had never known this before. My mother had kept this secret to protect me. She had carried it alone for many years. I felt a mix of emotions. I felt anger at him for leaving, sadness for the lost years, and understanding for his choices. I felt love for my parents in a new way. I felt my heart growing heavy and also full at the same time. I read the letters again and again. I wanted to remember every word. Every word had meaning. Every word had truth. The evening came slowly. The sun started to set. The sky turned soft orange and pink. I heard the sound of the street outside. Children were playing and dogs were barking. The normal sounds of life continued, but I was in a different world. A world of secrets, love, and truth. When my mother came home, I was still sitting on the floor with the letters. She looked tired and worried. She saw the letters in my hands. Her face changed. Her eyes filled with fear. She did not speak. She sat on the chair quietly. I could see her trembling. "I found the box," I said softly. She looked at me. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I walked to her and held her hands. "I know now," I whispered. "I know the truth." She cried for a long time. Years of pain came out in those tears. I held her tightly. I felt her heart shaking. I cried too. We did not need many words. Sometimes silence speaks more than words. Later we talked. I listened as she told me everything. She told me how hard it was to raise me alone, how she missed him every day, how she wished she could have explained everything before. I told her I understood. I told her I loved her. We laughed a little, we cried a little. That night I felt closer to her than ever before. I kept looking at the letters. They were old but full of life. They told me stories of my parents' love, struggles, and sacrifices. I felt proud of my father. I felt proud of my mother. They had both tried their best for me. They had kept secrets, but they had done it for love. I realized something important that night. Life is full of secrets. Some are small, some are big. Some hurt, some heal. But love is always stronger than secrets. Even after years of pain, love remains. The next morning, I woke up and looked out of the window again. The sun was warm. Birds sang. The street was quiet. But I felt different. I felt peace. I felt understanding. I had learned something important. I had learned about love, courage, and forgiveness. I went to my mother and hugged her. "Thank you for everything," I said. She smiled softly and kissed my forehead. That day I felt that my life had changed. I felt that I understood my parents, my mother, and myself better. The day I found a secret was also the day I found love and understanding. It was the day I learned that secrets can hurt, but they can also heal. It was the day I grew up a little more. The day I learned that life is not always simple, but it is full of meaning. And even now, years later, I still remember that day. I remember the box, the letters, the photos, and the tears. I remember the quiet house, the warm sun, and the love that held us together. That day was a beginning, not an end. It was the day I truly understood my family,